Thank you for watching the Shikama Live Show with your host, Shikama. The original intention of this channel was simply to bring you completely alternative news for African Americans, Black, Negroes, whatever you want to call yourself. I know some people get insulted if you call them Black. I don't know why. It's just the name of a color. Some people actually get insulted if you call them African Americans. They say they're not Africans, like they're insulted if somebody would call them Africans. I would be very glad to be a pure-blooded African. I am pretty much pure-blooded. But people, you know, they're stupid. A lot of African Americans have this psychosis going on that has been put there by the white man. And white people need to admit to it and understand it. And I'm not talking about the peasant white people. The peasant white people, you people who probably are listening to me and you're white, you're among the peasantry. You don't make policies. You don't set in motion powerful entities that you control, like all of the media. So you're among the peasantry. Embrace it. I'm among the peasantry too. I might come from a rich family, but I'm among the peasantry. The only power I have is what I can get through my videos. Well, I'm going to stop concentrating on the peasantry Negroes, and I'm going to concentrate on the bourgeoisie. And for those of you who do not know what the bourgeoisie actually means, it is one step down from the aristocracy. It was those rich merchants who had all the power, but not the title. You see what I'm saying? They weren't an aristocrat. They weren't lord, duke, duchess, princess, prince. They were simply called Mr., Sir, Sire. That's all they were called. And no, the plantation owners were not among the bourgeoisie. They were still peasants themselves. They thought they were just so fantastic, but they actually did absolutely nothing. The bourgeoisie actually do have some semblance of power. And that's exactly who I was really trying to bring to light, so that when you have these people that say 70% of African Americans are born out of wedlock, I could come to you and say, no, it's more like 15% are born out of wedlock per family, so that you don't get the wrong idea that there are millions and millions of Black bourgeoisie out there who have 1 or 2 kids. And you can't then calculate that Shaniqua in the hood who has 7, 8, 9 children is dwarfing 7 bourgeoisie families. Did you understand how I just did that? Because that's what they do in reverse. 10 to 15% of Black children are born fatherless. Write that number down. 10 to 15% per family. When you calculate it per family, there are not that many poor Black people in the United States. They keep double, triple, and counting Shaniqua 10 times. Oh yes, we got 10 children born out of wedlock. We're gonna turn her into 50% all by herself, because she's just wiped out all of Orange County Black people who live in $700,000 homes. Just wipe them all out because Shaniqua can't think to close her legs. And Shaniqua does it on purpose to get more food stamps or more WIC and more welfare. So I got a fantastic story for you in light of this. Actor opens a chain of grocery stores in New Orleans. Now let's go over this title. Just actor, Wendel Pierce. I know you know him. I know you recognize him. And he's doing exactly what I want my group to do. Opening chains of fresh food grocery stores in New Orleans. New Orleans is still a pit hole. Wendel Pierce is giving back to his hometown of New Orleans in a major way. Pierce launched a chain of grocery and convenience stores named Sterling Farms in the food deserts of his hometown. Let's concentrate on that word just for a second, that term. Food deserts. You want to know why Black people kill each other? Because they have absolutely no nutrition. They did a study. They took about 20 to 50 schools and they concentrated on Black kids. In half of the schools, they made the Black children eat nutritious breakfasts. They would come to school and regardless of what they had at home, they would give them a nutritious breakfast. No sugar, no unnatural, no artificials, no GMO, blah. Right? And then the other 50, they didn't do anything. And they picked children who they knew did not eat breakfast. The black children in the schools that they fed the all-natural breakfast to functioned 40, 50, 60, 70, 100% better than the black children who did not receive a nutritious breakfast, or breakfast at all for that matter. Can we extrapolate that finding to adults? Yes, we can. Yes, we can, since you love that, right? So you love that. Yes, we can. Yes, we can extrapolate that data and that conclusion and apply it to black adults. Oh, they know what they're doing. What is a food desert? You have absolutely no fresh food. When I say fresh, I mean lettuce, carrots, green bell peppers, out of the ground food, beef, fresh beef, fish, fresh that you have to actually cook to be able to eat, beans that you have to actually cook. No GMO crap, no prepared crap, no frozen crap. And if you diagram all of the cities with a population of 500,000 and more in the United States, you will find food deserts in the black areas. Now, of course, they're going to tell you, oh, that's simply because it is economically risky to open up grocery stores in those areas. No. How do you open up a grocery store? The same way you open up any business. You get a business loan, because it doesn't just take 10,000 to open a grocery store. Doesn't take $250,000 to open up a grocery store. It takes a lot of money, and that money is going to come from a bank. Now, if the bank says no, it would be one thing if only one bank said no. But what if all the banks say no nationwide? Do you think that maybe, just maybe, there's a conspiracy going on? Oh, I mean, right? Let's think about this. There may be a conspiracy going on. They have codes for each type of neighborhood. And when you get that code and somebody asks for a business loan in that area, unless you're Indian, Korean, Jewish, you're not going to get a loan. Just think on that. Let's continue. The stores are already proving themselves to be one of supreme customer service, as customers are given a free ride home if they spend more than $50. Listen to that junk. If you spend $50 or more in his stores, you get a free ride home. I used to ride the bus all the time, all day, every day. I mean, it was just so freeing, right? And I would see these people just struggling, getting on the bus with their grocery bags and their grocery carts, and they're in the way, and can you imagine if you went to a grocery store and you were a pedestrian? It would be terrible to have to walk home and or get on the bus with your grocery. And now these people are getting on buses. Why are they getting on buses? Because the supermarket is not located near to where they are. They're coming from food deserts. Quote, "The most important thing to me is creating a relationship with the community, creating an economic engine as an opportunity for them just to have access to a decent grocery store," Pierce says. Pierce may have taken advantage of a benefit offered by city officials. In an attempt to increase access to fresh, high-quality food, city officials created a program called Fresh Food Retailer Initiative, which includes a low-interest loan program for supermarkets, grocery stores, and other fresh food retailers, and the use of federal economic development block grants. Quote, "1, it improves the health of our citizens. 2, it creates jobs," said Amy Quirk, an economic advisor to Mayor Mitch Landrieu. They hope successful grocery stores can play a role in bringing people back to the city. Now, did you hear that? If you open up a grocery store in New Orleans, you're going to get a loan directly from the city. Notice no banks are involved there. You're also going to get some tax incentives. You're going to get some block grants from the federal government also. This is a golden opportunity. If you live in somewhere outside of New Orleans, you might want to look in to see if that is available in your city also. And if not, you can make it a proposal and use New Orleans as an example when you're making your proposal. This one man can't cover all of New Orleans. He can't cover all of the black neighborhood. But he's doing exactly what I've been saying. He's creating these grocery stores, providing jobs. People know what's up. The city knows what's up. This is not unknown to them. It's on purpose. Oh, these places, Baltimore rioted. Baltimore has a 60% unemployment rate. I repeat, Baltimore has a 60% black unemployment rate. Do you think it is any surprise that they rioted and said, we're sick and tired of this? It's on purpose, people. You white people grow up as well. You need to see what is going on. How do you think your neighborhood would survive, white people, if there was 60% unemployment rate? I want you to think about all the aspects of everyday life that would impact. Would men be in love with women? Would fathers take care of their children? Would mothers take care of their children? Would you have people going to church? Would you have people being courteous to each other? 60% unemployment rate. It touches every aspect of life. I don't care if you're white, black, blue, green, polka dotted, whatever. If your community suffered a 60% unemployment rate, that community is destroyed. I keep telling you, money is everything in the United States. You ignorant people say, God will provide. No, he won't. No, he won't. Stop saying that. You're a child. You provide everything, and the government tries their very best to take it away from you. It's people like Wendel who are providing for you. You need to seek out every goddamn Wendell Pierce in your community and ask him to please start a business. Please provide jobs in our community. Stop going to the white government who is intentionally unemploying you to the tune of 60%. 60 goddamn percent on purpose. It's on purpose. We need reparations. No, you need to build your own. And when you get some power, then you can ask for reparation. I know white people are hearing that, gonna go, oh, we're not gonna give you any reparations. They sure did give the Japanese some reparation. They sure did give the Guameans reparations. Puerto Rican. They even gave Mexicans, Middle Easterners reparations. All got reparations. Why? Because they had power. That's how you get reparations. Of course, black people deserve reparations. Of course. There are people living today, white, ridiculously, retardedly rich white people living today from slave money, living today from slave money. Wall Street is there because of slave money. Let me repeat that, idiots. Wall Street is alive and well, kicking with trillions of dollars because of slave money. They sold the slaves on Wall Street. They didn't sell them in Georgia. Where do you think they sold them? The liberals have done a toll on historical facts. Oh, the North was so loving. The North wasn't loving. And when the North decided that it was economically less risky to build a factory, hire people, and make and produce products that way and get rich off of it, they did away with slavery. And slavery actually didn't kick in until after the North actually got rolling with it. Everybody thinks slavery happened on day one. Slavery did not happen on day one. But you all don't know your history. So you don't know. You don't know that there were free black people, that there were tons of black people and they were all free. And then Shays' Rebellion happened and then everything went to hell. And it was the federal government that backed slavery, that kept slavery going. Yes, black people need reparation. Everything from the Hoover Dam on up. It's all been on purpose. You cannot have human beings incapable of fending for themselves. I'm talking about food, shelter, water, electricity, pooping. This modern time, if those amenities, those basic amenities are not available, the people are going to start going crazy. I don't care what color you are. I want you to look at every disaster that has happened in the United States that was even just a few days. Crime shot up. Even in New Orleans, white, blue, green, polka dotted, looted, robbed, murdered. Yes, white people, because they didn't have the basic amenities. Now, I want you to completely divest yourself of that little scene, and I want you to apply it to Baltimore. What's the other place? The one that just rioted over the little kid being shot and laying on the ground, and the police saying, oh, he attacked me, he was a really big guy, he was a really big teenager. Oh, I've only been trained by the police academy for 6 months or something ridiculous. I've been trained to take down. I don't understand. Where is that? That's the Michael Brown incident. That city has 50% unemployment, black unemployment. 50%. So not only do we have unemployment, we have a food desert. I already told you they did a study and found that the kids that they actually fed nutritious meals to performed all the way up to 100% better than those that didn't. And these are black kids. They didn't even compare them to white kids. They probably performed 100% better than the white kids, but they didn't want to say that. They didn't want to make this a racial issue, but they did want to show you this, how the study actually works and what really works. So you have unemployment, you have people living in a food desert. This is all on purpose. It's all by design. And I'm telling you, it's coming to the entire United States. I am concentrating on my people because I'm black, and I don't perceive anybody except for the couple of people that I've listed on my channel. And that's just a couple of people, a handful of people, a handful of investors, black investors, targeting black people. Why? Because they've come to the same goddamn conclusion that I have and that I concluded years ago. This is what we need to do. We don't need an Al Sharpton. I'm sure he's going to be dying soon. And I don't know what those types of people are going to do. And I'm talking about his little sheep of ignorant black people that run around and says, it's all the government's fault. It's all the government's fault. Yes, it's all the government's fault, but what are we going to do right now? What can we do right now? That's what I'm all about. I'm all about practical solutions. What can we do right now? Reparations happen when you don't need the reparation. What does that mean? When you're rich, they give you loans. When you have power, they give you reparations. First, we have to get the power. We don't have the power. Obama took advantage of you. Said, you're black, you're gonna vote for me because I'm black. Period. I don't even have to campaign. And you know what? The ignorant black people did. Voted for him, didn't ask for a red dime, red cent, nothing. And then when you did go to him, and he said, I'm not president of black America. He sure is president of gay America. He sure is president of Jewish America. He sure is president of Wall Street America. You gonna learn what you already learned. Apparently you didn't learn your lesson. You voted for him a second time, although black wealth had depleted by 60%. All you had to do was look at your paycheck. He increased taxes on you, and you still voted for it. How stupid are you? Anyway, let's not concentrate on that. Let's continue on with Wendell Pierce. Sterling Farms may be a lifesaver for the 30% of residents in the lower Ninth Ward who lack personal transportation. New Orleans has struggled to strengthen its economy following Hurricane Katrina in 2005. The 2010 census indicates a population for the lower Ninth Ward that is roughly a fifth of what it was before 2005 storm levee breaches. Census figures also show the population is about 60% of pre-Katrina levels in the 7th Ward. He can't do this all by himself. We need 10,000 Wendell Pierce. Did you hear me? We need 10,000 Wendell Pierces in New Orleans alone. Thank God for him. You all should, if he comes to your city, you all should rush. Well, you'll be able to, because he's going to be coming to a store near you. Listen to me, black people. They've studied this. Hitler studied this. You are under a brand new study with Barack Obama. They're doing this. Do you think he's just friends with Wall Street? Huh? Do you just think, they're just trading money? No, they're doing way more than that. His Justice Department has already talked about, we want to do this, we want to do that. You have NASA, the FBI, CIA, practicing all sort of tests and stuff on the population. You have all of these false flags. Do you understand? Tell me you understand. Tell me I'm not just speaking into the wind. And I don't need I need an amen. I want you to respond. I understand. I can see it myself. This, and this is going on in my neighborhood, in my city. I see it. I want you to testify that you actually see it in your community. I want white people to testify also that they see it, because it's being done to all of us. It's just that black people are at the bottom of the hill, and all of that stuff just piles and you know, there is no way that white population can have 60% unemployment and actually function. And I know a lot of black people say, well, that just goes to show you our strength. Okay, we don't need that. We're humans. We need running water. We need shelter. We need access to be able to purchase groceries and get fresh food and not rely on GMO, eating once a day. Even a comedian said the principal came up to him in elementary school and says, "Why are your grades slipping?" And he said, "God damn it, you're busing me from half across the state. I have to wake up at 4 a.m., not eat, and compete with white kids that woke up at 9 o'clock and had a breakfast and were bused 10 yards away from their house." Now that's the reality of the situation. Oh, the busing was so fantastic. And what's really ironic is when you actually factor in the poor inner city black people are paying 10 times as much as what the suburban white people are paying for their fantastic schools. Yes, look it up. These same black families are paying 10 times to educate their children, but not getting 10 times the result. This is all on purpose. In fact, black children, little black boys, are being sent to remedial education. They can't read. They're sent to special education, which then leads them to jail, which gives them this ideology, this psychology of school is bad, and anybody in school who does good is the enemy. Therefore, Kwame, who actually carries home all of his books in his book bag, is the enemy with his glasses and his backpack and his pencils and his pens and his calculator. He's the enemy. Let's beat him up. That's the psychology. It's done on purpose. Everybody, tell me that you understand this. Thank you for watching the Shikama Live Show.